Why men are going their own way, which is already problematic.
Because they're victims so far.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, a little bit of open-mindedness, girls. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. Let's see.
Okay, go.
Why men are checking out of society and relationships. People don't go where they're unwanted, and everybody always puts the blame and shame on men for everything that has gone wrong in society. A woman wants a man who is emotionally available and sensitive, but if a man expresses his sensitivity, he is told that he has a fragile ego. If a man wants to defend himself against a woman, she will shame him into being quiet by saying he's either too aggressive or he has toxic masculinity or he has, again, a fragile ego. If a woman says something offensive, she is protected. If a man says something offensive, he is canceled. It's considered sexist or misogynist to point out a woman's shortcomings, and you have to walk around eggshells with them because of their sensitivity. But men get mocked, ridiculed, and disrespected in society, and they're just supposed to sit back and take it. You can make fun of men all you want online, mock them, criticize them. If you do that to a woman, you'll get canceled. Men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide and make up of 70% of all suicides. They're also 2.5 times more likely to end up homeless. Yet there are very little help centers and shelters for men. Men are 4 times more likely to be the victim of violent crime. They're expected to die for their country, take on the most dangerous jobs and the lowest paying jobs. Waste management, paving the roads, coal mining, and police officers who risk their lives but yet are shamed in society for being seen as a threat, saying that we don't need them and to defund them. A man will risk his life to go to war and fight for his country and come home and find out that his wife has cheated on him. This has happened a lot. And even though she cheats, she's still awarded alimony, child support, half of what he earns and half of what he has. 80% of all divorces are initiated by women, and they're always awarded the financial earnings of their husbands, whether it's a home, 401k, retirement, alimony, child support. When men and women commit the same crime, men always get harsher prison sentences. Men get 60% longer prison sentences. A man named Brian Banks was falsely accused of rape, spent 5 years in prison. He's now a convicted sex offender. She was awarded $1.5 million, and it came out with video evidence later that she lied about it. Did she get in trouble? No. Men are blamed for the bad politics and politicians, even though women are more likely to vote. Whenever I give advice videos on what men need and what they desire in a relationship, women will respond saying, "Who cares about them? What about me?" They have no desire for self-improvement. They just expect a man to love her no matter what, even if she's a jerk to him.
Oof. There's a lot to unpack.
There's a lot.
I would like to say one thing that I think was touched on a really important key point, which is the only positive thing that I've seen so far, was that I think that the men's suicide rate is higher. That's a fact. And that's also caused by the fact that men don't have this sort of structure within their relationships where they can break things down with their friends a lot of the time, and they're emotional and vulnerable. And I think that obviously has a huge impact on your mental health. So that was one positive thing that I saw and an important topic, but the rest of what I heard there was, in my opinion, a bit problematic. I'm going to take the lead on this one.
Oh, I keep going.
I felt that a lot of the time, like, she's obviously trying to defend men and cover their tracks, and I don't know what her situation is, but
a lot of the resentment you women feel towards a man, is it because of all the sexual advances that you've experienced in your life that were uncomfortable?
I just want to cut real quick and unpack something before I answer that.
Yeah.
So many things that she said was totally inaccurate. I just want to say that, for example, she's talking about how there's this man that got falsely accused of something.
Yeah, that's one case. That's one case. So
I just want to say that we don't talk, for example, about all the sexual assault that will never, be reported, and also they will never be, followed up to.
Through
genre,
the law,
ouais, puis genre, honnêtement, how the system is fucked for that. I love how she doesn't talk about feminism, genre mettons les féminicides à travers le monde. I don't know how it is in English, but just women.
Feminicide.
Exactement. Genre, and aussi comme, I understand that, for example, being a man into genre
2022.
Yeah. And just for example, kind of like having to like balance, not being, toxic and like kind of like having to like be sensitive and like kind of not knowing where to go and navigating that. I understand that's something I can have empathy for and understand that like, it can be something that is hard to navigate. I understand. And she brought it up and I think it's a good point.
Yeah.
But I thought it was totally unrelated to all the other stuff that she was bringing up. And also she kind of said something also about women not wanting to be accountable for anything.
Yeah,
and
how in the comments they expected things.
And she said something like, they want to be loved anyway, but don't want to like
put in the work.
They're any
not
work
being accountable.
And stuff.
Yeah.
I understand that some people, men or women, are takers. Some are kind of givers. I understand that. But I want to talk about the sexism and how it affects everyone in the society. And it's like racism. It has effect on the oppressor and the oppressed person. So yes, I understand like you guys are going through things too. But it's like saying, like I want to understand why we make a movement, feminism, that's about women, and somehow it's still about men.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not saying you guys don't have issues.
Well, it is about men.
I want to understand why.
It is about men because like men is a part of the problem.
It's part of the problem.
I'm just saying.
But they're demonizing. What I don't like about this is she's taking a problem and instead of being compassionate towards it, she's demonizing women for taking a stance or whatever. And we're not saying on our end either that women are perfect, but that's not.
No,
that's not what
we never said
that's
that.
not what we're talking about. There's shit humans everywhere. There's people
Yes.
that don't take accountability in all realms. But what we're saying,
I think it's more like what she's trying to do is like, sorry for cutting you off, but it's like more like rationalizing.
But it's not rationalizing. It's so unrational what she's saying.
Yeah.
It's completely absurd.
Let's take it step by step if you want.
She's taking situations from everywhere. She's taking her following base and a couple comments that she got to set like a tone for
The
all
precedent,
women. Yeah. And essentially like we're not demonizing men. We're just saying that there are certain situations that are shit and that we all need to, kind of step
Address.
up.
Okay, no, there's two things I want to say, okay? Obviously, women are on the bad end of being sexually, I guess, assaulted with men. You know what I mean? There's more men sexually assaulting women.
But it's not even just like
no, it's not even just
sexual.
that.
It's not sexual.
Genre.
Okay.
It's everything.
No, but she is fighting against the ideology. You ladies opened up the podcast with Men Are Trash. So there's a lot of that going on online. You know what I mean? And she's kind of talking against women that are doing like a proliferation of this ideology online. Like men are trash, fuck it, fuck man, slay queen, just think about yourself and go for your career and like fuck men.
Sounds good to me. I'm just saying like.
So you saying fuck men sounds good to you?
No. The thing about focusing on yourself, obviously.
Which is essentially what men have been told to do.
But now society, but now society is realizing that like a lot of women are in their 30s or like 40s, and they're like, shit, I did the whole career thing, but now I realize that like we do need each other. Like men need women need men.
But of course, because
and both are unhappy now.
But the problem is, okay, women were trying to become men, right?
They're becoming quote unquote more masculine in a way.
But the
because
problem isn't that. The problem is anything that's hyper focused like that isn't sustainable. Like if you're just focusing on your career, who's relating to who? If there's no balance there, right? These are all human qualities: being ambitious, being compassionate, being kind. We decided to separate them between woman, feminine qualities and masculine qualities, right? And then now from what you're saying, women have taken on a lot of these typed masculine qualities and suppress their feminine qualities, which makes them harder to relate to in some ways, because who's doing the relating if the women aren't? What I'm saying is that is the problem. It's the demonizing. This woman in her conversation, I understand that from a male's perspective, she might be bringing on important, coming to your defense. But I'm saying it's problematic because she's not setting it in a tone where she's like, listen, women, I know that we're frustrated. I know that there's a lot going on. We've felt repressed and there's a lot of anger, and I'm compassionate towards that. And I understand why you guys want to push men down, but that is not the solution.
But you understand that, like, for young women growing up right now, the narrative that they hear is the narrative of, you know, men are trash, you know? So I like to see it as a pendulum, you know? Like, men were fucking, like, assholes forever. And now we have, like, this swing of the pendulum where it's like, all men are trash, you know? Which is totally valid, you know? Because the pendulum will swing. But there is a bit of extremism on that level.
Okay,
you know?
I just wanna
But it's
say-
not. I'm not trying to unjustify.
Of course.
The trauma that women are
trauma
going
that-
through.
that-
Yeah,
that-
they go through shit, you know, it's for sure.
But I feel that there's a certain rationale that needs to be set in place before saying all men are trash, yada 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 yada. This, because that I feel kind of
Pushes you guys away.
No. But also it engages in the toxicity. It adds more toxicity.
yeah.
It does. And the only people listen to that are like the good men who are just like, I already didn't feel confident enough to approach women. But now hearing all this talk is
but
like
that's all the
discouraging
that's the-
discouraging more the good guys.
No,
you know what I
that's
mean?
the fragility. That's the male ego fragility of like, you say one thing, you can't hear it. Like, not all men are trash. That's not what people are saying. People are saying that men have
To take
trash
accountability for them.
behavior. Okay, and this is being put up on social media because people are trying to be funny and get attention. But what we're saying is essentially, you guys just have trash behavior, and it's true. Not, you guys aren't trash. We're not saying that you're bad humans or you've. The fact that the feedback isn't taken in consideration, and it's not like, okay,
It's
listen,
proving the point.
It's proving the point in itself that
Exactly.
you guys have such fragile egos.
Yes.
That you cannot take the fucking criticism that we're trying. Like, you're always
I feel it's a
defending.
conversation.
Okay, yeah, but I didn't even get to like I don't
Say what you want to say.
say shit about fuck.
Say it.
Mid fuck go.
No, I'm not even there. I just want to say about the video. There's one productive thing that she said about navigating toxic masculinity and trying to, you know, walk on eggshell and kind of wanting to be careful and not act in the wrong way with women, being a man.
Which
these
is very
days.
true.
That was productive. None of the other thing is productive that she said to me, either for any of the discussion about any gender
men
issues.
men dying.
No,
And men
No, sorry, I
experiencing shame.
forgot
What about
that.
men dying?
I forgot about
What
that.
about-
Everyone's dying.
Camille
No,
already
no, no,
covered
no.
that
I already
point.
talked
No,
about
no, no.
that.
Camille covered that point.
Save the women and children. What about that?
What do you mean? Sorry?
Save the women and children in Ukraine right now. Who's leaving the country? Women and children. Who's staying in the country to die for their country? Men.
Okay, yeah.
What is that then?
I don't have anything to say about that, honestly.
Why not?
I do not want to engage on this right now. I'm not engaging about the Ukrainian war right now. Sorry.
No.
I don't know enough about it.
That's
I'm
just an
not-
example.
All
What
I'm
I'm
s-
trying to say,
Like
is
men-
that a lot of the men's responsibility is being undermined by a little bit of that pendulum swinging.
But
saying,
guys, we understand, and that's what we're saying, is that we're not saying that you guys haven't shown up in so many other ways and you're not repressed in so many other ways. But this is the issue that you guys, and we've been talking about this since the beginning, and we're coming back, is us giving you feedback always leads to you guys, instead of hearing us and being like, wow, you're right, we can show up better, you meet it with, but listen, we're good guys. Like,
Yeah.
we're showing up here.
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
not what we're saying.
No,
you guys are
yeah.
fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Why can't you just fucking hear us?
Yeah, just listen to us.
and listen and be like, wow, we're really not showing up in a lot of ways.
yeah.
Thank you for the feedback. You don't need to defend all the good shit you're doing. We understand that you too, you're repressed and you're in roles and you're told to be a warrior.
But that's
and
what she says as well. Is not trying to repress what the women or men are doing. She's just spitting facts, right?
But they're
facts
not-
about
yeah.
facts about le taux de suicide.
I don't
envers
like the
les
way
hommes
that
et
is
tout.
so
But that
real.
isn't that part of the conversation? Having a conversation only hearing one side of the thing. We started the whole conversation saying women have had it bad for a long time. We are both feminists. We are both for the, progression of women's quality of life. Men are trash in a certain sense, right? We could all agree on that. But can't we agree on the fact that, the other side of the pen,
But-
the other side of the
but
medal,
I've-
which
I
is
also want to clarify something. The whole feminist thing, like I never declared myself a feminist. Like I feel like women have certain advantages in life and men have certain advantages in life. And now like the playing field in terms of like careers and jobs is like kind of open to women. A lot of women are out earning men, So I'm not like this guy that's like trying to focus on equality. Like if you're at a bar, like girls get free drinks, girls skip the line. I'm not mad at that. You know what I mean? Like I realize that they have their
I'm not gonna be
advantages.
like,
Do you
I'm
know
not
how
gonna be
many
like, oh,
women get assaulted and
too? Yeah,
raped?
exactly. They have
It's-
disadvantages as well, and men have disadvantages as well.
Bringing up women getting free drinks for how we
You
must
can't
have
compare that
easy
to sexual assault, obviously. But
is so counterproductive to me to this discussion right now. I just want to say something. I started by saying men are trash is a figure of speech, but when I say it, I mean it in the way that all men have to be accountable.
the women,
account-
then women are
Ils ont
trash
besoin
too.
de... Attends, un peu, j'ai pas fini. And you're literally
Sorry,
mansplaining right now.
I cut you off.
Je vais prendre une petite sip, je vais me calmer 2 secondes.
no, but
All men are trash.
Okay, no,
J'ai
wait,
pas
wait.
fini par contre.
We're here to discuss, not to
Ouais.
to beef. Okay,
Mais
so
j'ai
it's
pas
just
fini.
discussion.
Ce que je disais, c'est que j'ai la misère à dire en anglais des fois aussi.
Yo,
là,
parle en
mais
français, c'est chill.
les hommes ont besoin d'être hold accountable for their actions, and that's how I started the podcast. J'ai commencé par dire que c'est ça, selon moi, puis que c'est comme, mettons, dire que, like, I compared that to racism and just, like all white people have racism in them or had, these
All
kind
black-
of behaviors. And I'm just saying, like, it's just like the way that you thought that I was saying that you personally were the trashiest person on earth is, again, not the point at all. I'm just saying men have to be held accountable for their action.
I just think
so.
I just think that you need to weigh your words. By saying all men are trash is something that you said. Que tu l'aies dit de façon figure of speech ou pas, you said all men are trash. And I'm not trying to poke things. We're having a conversation, right? And I've said stupid shit on this podcast too. And we're all trying to learn. You know what I'm saying? But saying that all men are trash is
Yeah.
counterproductive to the conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, but does bringing who cooks like fucking productive to the discussion?
Of course it is.
No.
But you know what? I hear you. I think that kind of language, and Lena and I in our intimacy can joke around. We have a certain relationship.
Yeah.
I think that you guys, there's some truth in what you're saying. It's not productive to speak of humans in that way and to put everyone in the same box. And I know that men in their way have been repressed, right? Like, for men to be told to be strong and not to cry, not have emotions, like that's had an effect. You guys are humans. Like, you're allowed to feel all these things. And
Right,
I also
Lena?
I feel like
Right?
I want you to keep saying what you have to say
yeah.
first, and then I'll say something.
And also, I do, I'm compassionate with the fact that when you guys do show your emotions, I'm sure that there are some women that haven't reacted well.
Women leave,
They yeah.
bounce.
Yeah, but you know what?
Some women, not all women.
Yeah,
Some
some
women-
women
Some-
bounce.
some.
Some women bounce because you know what? Them themselves have been told that men need to be in a certain way.
Because
They've been socialized.
they expect a certain
Type of guy,
behavior
and that is
from
toxic
a
too
man.
in some way, right? That is there's something problematic in, like I said from the beginning, like these roles that we've been told that we have to have, and the fact that women need to show these qualities and men need to show these qualities when really they're just human qualities. That's it. So I think I take accountability. I think that saying that all men are trash is problematic for me.
Lena's a different story.
Lena can speak for herself. She's
Yeah.
26 years old.
Yeah.
How
How old are you?
24.
Oh, really?
And I think there's a problem in demonizing anyone. But I think that also a lot of women, we do it and we try to put humor in it because we're hurt. And I like when I walked in and I'm like, I need to keep my safe distance. Like there's a part of me that's very protective, right? Because I'm scared of being hurt. And as much as you guys have been socialized not to feel your emotions, I was talking about this with my therapist and with my friends, but the way that my dad brought me up, the messaging I got was, Cam, go after things, like do your thing, do motocross camps, like don't feel, shut it off, you know? So I was kind of, though I'm a woman, like
raised like a boy.
And I had my mom telling me, make yourself small, be pretty, be careful what you eat. So I had very mixed messaging when I've often been bold and assertive and all that, but I was called bossy and because of my character traits, which are just human traits.
Which, by the way, if a guy was doing the same thing,
He'd be called bold.
Yeah.
But I was
You-
called bossy by my
exactly.
own mother, right? So it's all of those things that I'm just starting to unpack now. And I'm seeing that it's all problematic. When I raise my boys or my girls, like I don't want to tell my boys that they can't cry in front of me. Like I want to encourage them.
of course.
And
So that's all I'm saying.
coming back to what I was saying with the pendulum, it's like I have nothing against women expressing their
ambitions or-
anger with saying statements like all men are trash and things like that, because I accept it, right, as being part of the pendulum swinging. But in the perfect world, I don't want people to think that all men are trash. I don't want men to think that women are this or that either. But I feel it's part of the conversation right now and I accept it. So when people say all men are trash, I will say, yeah, all men are trash. Not me though. Not me though. I'm good though. Look at my pedigree. Look at what I've done. I've never raped a woman, you know? But the narrative is all men are trash. And hopefully one day we could come back to the middle and be like united.
It's gonna
again.
depend on you guys.
Us? Only men?
Only men, so it's only men that could make a difference of this whole situation.
Explain yourself.
Being held accountable. I started with this, and this is how much I can say right now about this. Just, it's not complicated.
So men are the only problem.
But what I'm saying is that like I hold myself accountable. I do hold myself accountable. That's the reason why I said when the pendulum right now is swinging, it's saying all men are trash. I will accept that narrative because I know that it's going to come back to the middle. That is accountability. That is accountability for not only my actions, but the actions of all the people that followed me in the past. All these motherfuckers I have a twin sister. Trust me. I know exactly what it means to have respect for women. And I know exactly what it means to see people around me disrespect the women I love most. And what disgusts me the most is that all these men that are acting like this, they all come from a mother, and their mother would be disgusted to see the way that they fucking act. But it's because of society, like Lola
Yep.
was saying and stuff. So I'm totally willing to accept the narrative of all men are trash, but to say that we're not staying here. We're not staying here. The pendulum needs to swing back in the middle because it makes no sense to just keep that narrative to say that all men are trash, because it's going to create a toxic society. And at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all need to love. We all need to procreate.
And
But that's exactly
there's
what-
also something to be said though that like there's no arriving point, right? Like you, in order to keep on taking accountability, I think there's a part of you, Adele, that needs to be like, there are probably still ways in which I'm showing up that are not great and that I'm unaware of. And that's where it's not like these men that are trash or deemed trash and me. You're still not separate.
No.
Because you know what?
we're not separate from white people, and they're white as fuck. We're white.
There's still a lot about our experience that that still needs to be unpacked, that you probably still need to unpack with your girlfriend and like with women in your life. So it's that separation. It's accepting and taking accountability. There's still parts of you that are probably not showing up great and that are still a bit toxic.
I beg to differ.
drop the mic.
So
I'm
yeah.
just joking.
But,
of course,
but that's
of course.
it.
But,
and it's just creating space to listen more and get more curious and be like,
okay,
how
for
did-
example, when we've had sessions together,
yeah.
did you ever feel uncomfortable?
No, never. Never. But during the conversation today, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been feeling uncomfortable the whole fucking time.
Yeah, because
Really?
we don't have a choice
Yeah.
because we're talking about like men and
No,
like,
no,
we-
you
And
have
like
a choice.
I'm surprised though because I have to admit it, I'm surprised.
okay.
By what? By what?
Like
Us defending men.
no,
No.
just like I don't know you personally.
Yeah.
Obviously, you seem really cool and stuff. I think we would get along, obviously, but
For the sake of the podcast.
no, just in general, I think. But like I just like I know you from like, you know, professional relationship, like we make music together and stuff, and I just thought that, you know, for example, when I said, you know, men are trash, they need to be held accountable for their actions, it's a figure of speech, but I still think, you know, there's some work. You'd be like, fuck yeah, you know what, men are
Listen to the
trash.
podcast. I said
You know?
exactly that.
No,
Listen-
because
well,
the,
well,
the whole
listen to the
podcast.
and
Wait
I
a
s-
second. The whole podcast had been about you guys defending how that's problematic instead of just being like, you know what? Yeah, it must be fucking hard. That's it. All you need is empathy, listening, and that's it. And I will never invalidate your own trauma. That's all I had to say.
I feel like we started the podcast saying the women's experience in the studio, how fucked up it must feel like, you know, being a woman, all the men are producers. I feel I was pretty empathetic.
Yeah,
you know,
we were trying to
your
fill
cause.
you girls out, you know, like being like
No?
put ourselves in
yeah.
your position.
I'm
in
just
a way.
gonna pause 2 seconds and say something. One, Adele, I think you do a killer job at making women feel comfortable in the studio.
Yeah.
I think you're amazing at that.
You are.
You've mastered it. You've obviously you're very conscious about it. I feel amazing.
Yeah.
I can't speak for Lena, but from what she said,
Yeah,
her
of
too.
course. Amazing.
I think you guys' next growing point is making women feel. You guys are hosting a podcast, making women feel listened to, seen, and heard when you're hosting a conversation, and you're asking them to open up about their experience, and then instead of listening and asking more questions and getting more curious, you're putting it back to your experience and defending based on what you're hearing.
Fair. Can I add something?
yeah.
All of that would have been done and unpacked exactly like you said, but us as men, when like there's
Yeah.
you call it a figure of speech, but saying men are trash is like an
hurted
attack.
you.
It's an
It
attack.
hurted
It
you.
is an attack.
You felt
and
hurt when
we
I
have to
said
address
that.
it. We have no other choice but
Did
to
you feel
address
hurt
it.
when I said that, Adele? Too?
Not necessarily hurt, but we have to address it for the viewers
Did it hurt
because
you?
there's
Not for me, but for the for the viewers, because
there's guys listening to this.
yeah,
They're like, you're not gonna
we're
say
just
anything?
trying to
Yeah, and most of them are
unpack it,
toxic
you know?
as hell too, and I don't
Of
care about
course.
hurting
No, but
them
exactly.
feelings. and it's like-
No, but exactly. But that's not even gonna help at all. That's not gonna help the conversation at all.
Yeah.
It's almost as if I say all
Yeah, the
women-
conversation is the conversation.
I feel like
is-
the most toxic person on this podcast is Cherry right now.
probably,
Probably.
most likely.
Okay, so would you, if that's the case, would you guys want to wrap this up, start again, and do something
No,
else?
no, this is perfect. This is
No,
great
no.
A content
This
right now.
awkwardness is perfect. Actually,
That's what people want to.
This is what people wanna hear.
That's what we want to understand.
Most for women. But can I say, being close to Terry, it's also we build barriers, right? It's and at a certain point, you're just so over being treated a certain way that maybe what comes off is a bit of a rigidity, right? Whereas I'll come balance her out and I'll be like, I hear you. I'm trying to compensate in some way, but it's also because she's fucking sick and tired. And also she would like for you to understand that when she says all men are trash, she knows you guys are great guys. And that's not what she's saying. she doesn't want to go and be like, yeah, you dudes are fucking awesome. But she doesn't feel she needs to say it.
I feel like we touched on that. Like, I feel like I've empathized. I feel like let me say it again.
I like
A
you.
woman. Let me say it again. A woman in the music industry.
Yeah.
You both are very talented singers. Trying to navigate this industry full of men
Yeah.
is something that I could not understand, but that I try to empathize with.
100%.
And it's something that is real, and it's something that is disgusting, because for the most part, I know a lot of people who make women feel uncomfortable, borderline scared for their survival, right? And I want to reiterate on that. I want to say that again. It's not easy for men, but it's less easy for women. Okay? I want to say that factually. But that's a conversation to be had. And all I wanted to say is that saying that all men are trash, and I don't want to come back to what you were saying because I know it's a figure of speech, but it's just an example that it's just us opening up the conversation. We're not trying to be unempathetic to your cause, because
The charity case.
it's obviously
Yeah.
a true thing. Like when you see all the Me Too's, the Me Too movement, all these women that have been like just treated and traumatized in the sickest ways, trying to pursue their dream or whatever the fuck. It's disgusting. Men are in a position of power. In these scenarios, yes, they are. All I'm saying is that I am a feminist. When it comes, hopefully one day we'll be able to come back to the middle and have a conversation in peace and total empathy for both parties, right?